the one and only David Schmidt, CEO, founder, inventor of LifeWave. We are so excited to have you here at our best year ever event here. I'm telling you, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
I hope you had a great time with your family. Steve and I had a great time with our kids at our house in West Palm. We are so excited to have you here to ask you a few questions and just kind of go back and forth, have a little fun. And Steve, you want to say hi?
We are just blessed to have you here. We're just grateful for all the things that you've been doing for everybody in LifeWave and positioning them to win. And that's why we wanted to get everybody out of the blocks early in 2024. Not a better person to get on here and tell everyone what's about to happen in 2024 and maybe a little recap of 2023. But we're so grateful that you decided to come and share with everybody and let them know how much you care about them and how exciting 2024, our 20th anniversary year, is going to be.
Oh, well, first, thank you to both of you for inviting me and for having me here. Believe me, it's my pleasure. And I think I would just want to start by saying thank you for an amazing 2023. Biggest year in the history of LifeWave, U.S. #1 market in the world, fastest growth market in the world, and your team #1 in the world. Wow. So many, many congratulations. And
we're going to do a high five on that.
Yeah, high five.
Come on.
Yeah.
So thank you for for the two of you and everybody on your team that's driving all that. It's been amazing. So thank you.
Wow. Thank you. So 2024, guys, it's going to be big. The 20th anniversary is coming up. We are super excited about that, and we hope you're going to be there. You better mark your calendar. So, David, Steve and I, we pray for 1 year for the right product, the right company, the right ownership, because you can have the right product but have the wrong ownership. And we are so blessed and excited to be here. I know that our last thing we prayed for was God's favor. We are Christians, we're believers, and we just really wanted our product that we were going to run with. I don't want to say our last run, but because it makes you sound so old. But I'm telling you, God's favor is all over the product, the company, the business, and we are so excited about what's happening, what's going on, the testimonies, the business that people are developing, their financial is doing a shift, which is great because that's our goal for 2024. For our team is called This Is It, and our goal is to get people out of debt and to have a better health, better finances, get your act together. And so we're so excited about where it's going and what's happening.
Okay, in 2024, we are just really looking forward to setting everybody up right out of the gate so they can win in a big way. And we're so excited to have you share with the folks here. But let's go back to 2023 because it was such a momentous type of year. I mean, like you said, records were broken almost every month. Can you give us a few highlights, some things that you really captured of what you've seen? I mean, you've been doing this for 19 years. It's the 20th anniversary. Out of all the years you've been doing it, had to be some really charged up type feeling you had in the 2023.
Well, so there were highlights, first, I'd say, throughout the year in so many great ways. First, I'd say I'm so very appreciative to all the new leaders that came in to build, to see the rank advancements, to see all of the excitement and enthusiasm that we had on incentive trips. Sardinia was certainly incredible because we created the new elite level SPD status, which is only 24 people last year from around the world. And so we got to create that new level along with the bonuses that come along with that, the financial bonuses and the incentive trip. And so that, I think, was a really big highlight, that we had 3,000 people over at convention in Orlando, that we broke over 40 million in sales for the month of November. That was really incredible. It was over 45 million in sales for the month of November. So that was pretty extraordinary. But, at the end of the day, it's always going to be about the testimonials. I met some extraordinary people last year. We had a woman, a very famous singer, in Asia come in and sing at an event in Taiwan. And she performs for presidents of countries, and she gets paid a lot of money. And she came in and did everything gratis. And she said to me, you know, I was suffering with cancer. We don't make any medical claims. She said, I was suffering with cancer. I used X39 and I'm cancer free today. So I wanted to do this as a way to say thank you. So that really, I think for me, summarizes the highlights during the year is all of the testimonials that we got on life-changing results with the products. That's always going to be first.
You know, I really love your passion for people, and that's the root of having success in LifeWave, is because people are winning with their health, people are winning with their finances, they're winning spiritually, just the community of everyone encouraging people to have something that they can look forward to. I love the message of hope. And I really want, maybe you can set out the stage looking forward down into 2024 if we got enough patches that are going to be coming out so that our team can feel confident that they got plenty of product.
Yeah, so I spend probably more engineering time in the company than our brand partners realize. And one of the privileges that I have is I get to work with some really great people like Coleman and the engineers at the company that we work with to manufacture the equipment that makes our product. And we started with making the patches one at a time. That was in my lab. That was quite tedious, to going to a semi-automated process, to an automated process, to now we have a complete robotics AI-driven system. So some numbers that are pretty significant is that when I started, I was making one patch at a time. And today, we're making more than 20 million patches every month.
Wow.
So that's a huge number of people that we're helping each and every month. But the important thing is that today, we can support a company doing more than $1.2 billion a year. And by the end of this year, with another upgrade on our facilities, that's going to go to over 1.8 billion in sales, approaching 2 billion in sales. So we have a very, very good plan in place for continued expansion of manufacturing. So go and sell. We'll be able to keep up with
That's
you.
what we want to hear. And
Yep.
I will say that from the time we started with all this crazy record-breaking years in 2023, we haven't had one hiccup on the logistics of getting X39 to everybody, and that's a big hats off to you for doing that for us, because you really have position. If we don't have product, how are we going to promote?
Yeah,
and it gives the field confidence. So I just want to really commend you for what you've done, and it's not easy to produce that much.
It's a team effort, and I would say out of the many different areas of the company, the manufacturing is absolutely rock solid. We have great people in supply chain, order fulfillment. We have a fantastic fellow that's running our order fulfillment in San Diego. And I mean, we're shipping as many as 7,000 to 8,000 orders a day. So it's gotten very sophisticated and extremely reliable. So we just don't have any problems in those areas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you said you got plenty of patches. So this is your team. Step it up.
Yeah.
We encourage you. They got enough patches. We can do this.
Yeah.
So David, this is a team is so excited about the 20th anniversary and making 2024 like just incredible. We've got the 20th anniversary coming up. And for everyone that's attending here, our virtual online best year ever event, can you kind of like give us a little secrets, maybe some little pique our interest, what's going to happen, because we want everyone to be a part of it.
You know, leaders around the world have two things in common. Actually, they have more than two things in common. First, they're all really great people.
Yeah.
They have patience, persistence. They never give up. And they also, when I sit with them, they also always want to know what secrets, are coming. So that's good that you guys all have that in common. Well, next week is going to be our online vision conference. And I actually am going to be telling a story about some secrets. So I'll give your team a preview of this. So I hope everybody joins me for Vision next week.
Yes.
But in October, at the leader event and then also at convention, I unveiled this brandy product that I invented. And of course, this is a new method for processing alcohol with light. So the alcohol is infused with light. And I never thought I'd buy a round of brandy for 3,000 people before. Yeah. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And we got phenomenal feedback.
Yes, it was tasty.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was actually teasing a product launch and foreshadowing a product launch, but our community just didn't know it. We're not going to market and sell brandy, but we do have technology to infuse things that you consume with light. So think about this just for a second. Our products work by stimulating the skin with light, and they produce these phenomenal effects. But what if you could get the light to go inside your body? What kind of health benefits would that be?
Yeah.
So, that brandy was just a way to celebrate 20 years, but it was also a way to celebrate the entry of a new technology into our company that works with light. So during the year, you'll hear more about it.
Yes.
And of course, no surprise, we're going to have a major product launch this year.
Okay, don't share the secret.
Yeah. And get on the virtual event next week, right? The corporate team is going to be amazing.
More on that next week.
Yeah. You know what? You'd mentioned us that we got some exciting news recently regarding being able to speak more about GHK, the copper peptide, and stem cell activation with the X39, the way it states in our patent. Can you elaborate on that? Let us know some exciting news that we're going to be able to have. That's good to me. That's going to be very exciting news for 2024.
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to talk about it. So the first thing is, I would say, altruistically, the FDA is supposed to act in our best interest, right? They're supposed to be an agency that protects people from consumer fraud on health products and other things. And but unfortunately, what we see is the FDA not really acting in consumers' best interest. So FDA has a mandate now where they want to start taking natural compounds off the market and regulate them as drugs. So hopefully this won't pass, but things like glutathione, lipoic acid, they want to pull these supplements off the market because they know that these supplements treat things like diabetes and cancer, right? So that's what we're up against. So with X39, we're in the category of general wellness, and FDA now wants to regulate stem cells as drugs. For injections, totally understandable, but not for our patch, right? Because we're not putting anything in the body. And stem cells naturally occur in the body. So when this all went down in August, I started to think about, what would be a way that we could deal with this and still be legal in terms of our claims. So I started thinking about pairing a health supplement with the patches where we could support the stem cell claims and support the copper peptide claims.
Yes.
So I went to our FDA attorney with this. Now, he's been our attorney since 2005. He's a very, very well-known Washington, D.C. attorney, and he also consults for other companies in our industry.
Yeah.
And I said, this is what I have in mind. And he came back and said, those will be totally legal claims. So we've put together a supplement that contains things like glycine, lysine, copper, beta-alanine, and it's matched to specific patches. So for example, you use any of the patches that you would use during the day, and this formula supports the activity of those patches. So I talk about this all the time on LifeWave.inc, and many leaders like yourselves would say, well, why don't we sell those supplements? Well, now we will. But it's all in one, we've done it all in one formula.
Okay.
So
that is great.
So we'll be able to co-market the supplement with X39, And we'll be able to make the claim that this supports levels of copper peptide in the body, and it supports stem cell activity.
Wow.
And people get all these crazy good benefits.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yes.
So throughout this year, we're going to be implementing the supplement.
Oh, well, we're going to be putting all of that information on our website and saying coming soon, and that will allow us to start making the claims now.
Yeah.
And then just within maybe about the next 2 months, it'll get released in the United States.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Come on, give me
Yeah.
5 on that one. Thank
Fire
you,
it up.
David.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
And this is, by the way, this is not a pill. This is going to be,
It's not a pill.
it's not a pill, it's a powder. And you mix it in with water. And it will have an immediate effect, but there's no stimulants in it. So think in terms of things that are infused with light.
Woo!
So we're
fired up, guys.
Yeah.
so we're definitely going to change the way people think about supplements.
Yes.
It's not going to be a Me Too product.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So we have a lot of highly educated doctors online today, a lot of brand new brand partners. Can you explain really how the technology of the X39 patch really works?
Sure.
We get so many questions,
Yeah.
and it's like, if I just had a simple verbiage back to them, it would really help a lot.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't going to be simple.
Okay. Oh, boy.
So it'll be simple for doctors.
Right, okay,
But
good.
maybe not lay people. So essentially what happens is in our patches, they stimulate the skin with very low levels of light. This will in turn cause a increase in the amount of something called cytochrome C oxidase. And this is found in the mitochondria, and it's found in what's called the electron transport chain. So in order for the body to convert food over into energy, it's got to go through this very complicated series of biochemical reactions that acts like what we call a bucket brigade of transferring one molecule to another. So in the final stages of the electron transport chain, you have something called cytochrome C oxidase, and this is an energy carrier. So with light, the specific wavelengths of light, you can increase that, and as a result, get a net increase in the amount of ATP that's produced in the cell. When we get an increase in ATP, now it's like getting an increase in cash in the bank. So, Steve, I know one of the things you and I have in common with a lot of other guys is that we like sports cars.
Yeah.
And we like driving, we like driving sports cars. Well, you got to have some money to drive a sports car,
Yes.
right? So in the human body, you've got to have energy in order to make new muscle, repair damaged tissue, and so forth, and make hormones. And when we use the patch, the first thing that it's going to do is make the amount of energy available in the cell higher. From there, the patch uses other wavelengths of light, a blend of wavelengths of light, to turn on gene expression where copper peptide, the copper peptide gene gets expressed, and now we can see through blood testing that it does increase within 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, so the basic mechanism: stimulate the skin with light, increase energy, increase copper peptide.
But talking about the GHK,
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit, seeing how, we're discussing the GHK, the peptides, and the importance of it is in your body. Tell us a bit what to expect once your GHK levels in your body are elevated wearing the X39. What does somebody expect when that happens?
Yeah, so copper peptide, well, there's two peptides. One is GHK and one is GHK-Cu.
Okay.
So the first thing is both of these peptides will decrease with age, and the peptide has a very strong affinity for copper. So it means once the peptide's created, it's going to want to bond with copper. And we have this peptide in our body, and by the time people reach 60, it's declined by about 60 to 80%.
You're 60.
Wow.
So, I didn't realize we're the same
but I've
age.
been wearing-
There we go.
I'm going to be 62. Woo!
Yeah. But we've been wearing the X39, so
There you
Yes.
that's why
go.
we're feeling so great.
Yeah, and it's so not surprisingly, levels of GHK are strongly correlated with stem cell activity in the body. So Dr. Lauren Picard, who discovered this peptide and worked on it for decades, what he discovered was that the real power in copper peptide is its ability to regulate gene expression. So we can think of the genes in our body as being switches, and they're either on or off.
Right.
And they're either methylated or hypermethylated. But it goes. The genes go through this process where they're either exposed or they're coded, and we either have access to the information or we don't. And as we age, there are certain things that get turned off that we want on, or there's certain things that get turned on that we want turned off. And one of the things that was exciting in aging research was to find out that resveratrol was going to turn on one or two genes associated with long life. Those are the sirtuins.
Right.
So you remember all the hype about resveratrol.
Yes.
Well, copper peptide's 4,000 genes.
Wow.
Not just two. 4,000.
Wow.
So that gives you an idea of power scaling between
We got
something
it,
like
guys.
Yeah.
copper peptide and resveratrol.
Jeez.
So the benefits then are really massive, because we're talking about being able to recapture some of the youth that we lost.
Yeah.
That means that we see when people elevate their copper peptide, that their cognition is going to improve, their recovery after exercise is going to improve, collagen increases, so people see reduction in lines and wrinkles. We see short-term, long-term memory improvements, synthesis of new proteins in the body. The benefits are systemic, and the benefits are quite significant. So what's exciting to me about this is that X39 takes us about 1/3 of the way towards human age reversal. It's an incredibly important foundational product and peptide in getting us to where we want to be, which is not aging at all.
Wow. That is incredible. And I love the simplicity. You put a patch on,
right,
and it works. I mean, that's very, very, taken years for you to figure that out, but now that we've got our hands on it, it's amazing.
And I'm wearing the patch till Jesus takes me home. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Same. It'd be nice to get, lifted up the way Elijah did, and we don't have to go through the death and resurrection process. So we pray for that. Right?
That's
right.
We pray
That's
for that.
right. That's right. So we need you to explain. We get this question so much. Are there baby cells in this patch? Or what actually is in that patch? I know it's nano-organic crystals, but we get this over and over. People are just highly concerned, and I kind of flip it around a little bit, but do you really know how your cell phone works? You just use it.
Yeah.
Do you really know when you drive through fast food what's actually in the food? Come on, put the patch on. But people are highly concerned, and for me, I have a lot of trust. Steve and I, we read a lot, we watched a lot of your videos, a lot of your talks, but people, that's the biggest thing. They're so concerned. What is in that little tiny patch?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be more concerned about, what's in the food at McDonald's that people are eating than I would be about the patch. So first, the patch only contains organic materials. It's obviously made of polymers so that nothing will enter the body, and that's important. It's a product that stimulates the skin with light. And inside the product are going to be what we call stereoisomers of amino acids and sugars. So a stereoisomer, in the case of an amino acid, it means that these materials can bend light to the left or the right. So when you have an amino acid, it's usually left-handed, but there are right-handed amino acids. Sugars, like D-ribose, for example, which is used in energy production in the cells, that's a right-handed molecule. And this is a little bit technical now, but I discovered a method of processing these materials into something that would give optical polarization of light, where we see that the polarization is circular in nature. So in other words, you take the patch, you put it on the skin, and it creates a optical vortex. And this forms a communication channel between the patch and the human body. So we can use this now as a communication device to embed information into the body. And in this case, it's like a cell phone for the body, where we're saying, hey, please elevate copper peptide, right? So that's how it's working.
That's great.
So anybody who's following doctor's orders, doctor's instructions, maybe medicine, it's all completely safe for them to use this X39 patch daily.
So
And
I'm
it's
not a
not-
medical doctor,
Right,
right?
exactly,
And then the company
exactly.
doesn't give medical advice.
Yeah.
It's all light therapy.
Yeah.
So we believe it's safe. And we've done over 80 clinical studies to show that there's no adverse effects. The only side effect, if you want to call it, is that 1 in 10,000 people are allergic to the adhesive. Same adhesive as in Band-Aids. So someone has an allergy to Band-Aids, then they could apply the patch to their clothing. But other than that, we generally don't see any type of side effects from the use of the product.
And that just seems amazing that you can literally put the patch in your clothing and it still activates. It's working.
Yeah.
So if your skin, you have a issue with your skin when you put the patch on, then you're okay to put on your clothes.
Sure.
That's just to me incredible.
Yeah, and that's because, again, it's all light therapy, and that's actually a good way of demonstrating that there's nothing that's going into the body. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Okay, so we get a lot of this question too. Oh my gosh, I left the patch on all night long. I said, oh, it's okay. You're just going to grow a third arm. We're just having a little fun.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen. So
Yeah.
But so people are really concerned, like 12 hours on, 12 hours off. How did you come up with the 12 hours on, 12 hours off? And what happens actually if you do forget to take the patch off and you wore it all night long and you wake up and go, oh my gosh, is it okay to take the patch off and put a new one on in the morning?
Yeah. So this is a phenomena in phototherapy or light therapy called attenuation. So it would be like a good analogy would be, let's say somebody likes to go to Starbucks and have a cup of coffee, right? Well, if they keep drinking coffee every day with caffeine, eventually they're going to stop responding, right? So like the first time you take 1 cup of coffee, you're flying high on it.
I am so genius because I tell everyone, don't go get your coffee.
Right.
Use the patch because that replaces the cost of the coffee.
There you go.
Boom.
There you go. But eventually people attenuate to or adapt to the caffeine where they stop responding. They need more and more and more.
Yes.
So the same is true in light therapy, meaning that if you left the patch on all the time, eventually the body would stop responding. So what we found in our own work is that if people use the patch for 12 hours and then had a break from it, when they came back to use it the next day, they would still respond. So we've shown that for many, many years now that that's the case. If you leave the patch on, let's say 24 hours, some people may get a heat rash from that because the patch is sealed and overstimulates the skin. So you can trap heat, get a heat rash, no problem. Take the patch off, give your body a day of rest, and then go back and use it again, and it's all fine.
Now, when it comes to, we always hear that we stay hydrated when you're on the X39. Is there anything else that you can, really escalate the production of the X39? Maybe can you put other copper peptides? Is there something to raise your copper peptides a different way, or just stay with the X39? Or is there something else, nutrition-wise, supplement-wise, that we could do to elevate the productivity of the X39?
Well, funny you ask, because you didn't know this, but next weekend I'm doing a training on exactly that subject.
Okay.
So we're going to go into detail, but I'll give you the short answer, and that is yes. First, the foundation is so critically important. So what that means is making healthy choices in our diet, supplementing where needed, getting proper rest, getting exercise, hydrating, right?
She's still out in front of everybody.
Yeah, all those things are pretty critical, right? The reason why we need water is because the cells depend on water for energy production and for detoxification, right? For elimination. So if we don't have enough water, then we're going to short circuit our body's ability to make energy. So that's why getting enough water is important. Now on the nutrient side, there's some interesting studies today that are showing that supplementing with glycine and NAC extends lifespan by about 24%. Now, personally, I think it's because both of those amino acids are necessary in making glutathione, and glycine is an important part of making copper peptide.
Okay.
So in this supplement that we're going to come out with, people don't have to think about it, meaning it's going to contain every ingredient that people need to support the activity of the patches. So you just take this in the morning, put on whatever patches you're going to put on, like X39,
Yep.
and now you're supplementing your diet with everything that you need to elevate copper peptide.
We have had so many amazing testimonies with friends and family on the cardiovascular reversal of wearing the X39 patch. So can you kind of explain, to me, I don't know if I'm just really need to get more educated or I'm dumb, but to me this is mind-blowing how that actually works. The testimonies are off the chart.
They are.
Yeah, so we saw in one of our studies, we did this study with Dr. Thornton Streeter in India, and we used a variety of different techniques. One was a device called a BioWell, and we saw that when people were wearing the patch for, I think it was 8 weeks, there was a 6 to 8 week reversal in cardiovascular age.
Wow.
So we really have to understand, what's going on there and exactly how that's working. So we don't want to make any medical claims about it. But some of this has to do with a relaxation response. So you get a relaxation response in the nervous system, and now you're going to have improved endothelial function. The improvement in endothelial function leads to an increase in nitric oxide that dilates the blood vessels and it improves blood flow. So if I was going to say, if there's a hypothesis as far as why we see this, that's what I would suspect the mechanism of action to be. But copper peptide also will elevate glutathione in the body, and we know that glutathione has a number of benefits for the cardiovascular system. We have X49, which elevates AHKCU, and metabolism of alanine, in this case, has definite benefits for the heart because we see AHK and carnosine stored in the heart, the brain, and the muscle tissue. So the other thing, though, to answer your question, what we saw with GHK copper peptide with X39 is improved heart rate variability. So what this means is you put the patch on, it creates this relaxation response, and now it starts to synchronize the muscle contractions in the heart. So heart rate variability looks at these ratios between high frequency and low frequency muscle contractions in the heart. X39 improves that. Wow. So there's certainly, at convention in October, I talked a lot about what people could do to improve the health of their heart.
Yes.
And the exciting thing is that using a combination of things like the patches, proper diet, and supplementation, I'll make the claim just on the supplementation side, is that bypass surgery should be a thing of the past. We know enough today about nutrition to know that if people do these sets of things, that they can avoid heart attacks and strokes. Mm-hmm. And the patches are just part of a healthy lifestyle at that point.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And we do get a lot of testimonies.
We do. Lots.
Yeah.
Lots.
Now, being a former pro athlete for over 25 years, I had doctors tell me, I've had 14 surgeries, so all the doctors, all the physical therapy and everything that goes with all that, they were talking
and it's amazing
to me
because every time you got an injury, you're hitting water basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's,
that's kind of
it's
shocking.
literally a cement wall.
Yeah, but at 40,
Yes,
at
that's
45
true.
miles an hour on the
Yes.
water,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
a
hitting
cement wall.
concrete.
That's
but
true. Yeah.
it's still not as hard as hitting frozen ice, because
Yeah.
I've done that too.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know
so
that. Wow.
point is that we had all these doctors tell me, you need to get stem cell injections. And one of the biggest differences I do know between the X39 and those injections, because one of the quotes was $23,000,
Right.
which I never had, but
Yeah.
people have had them. But can you give me people love to have the answer? What's some of the differences? I heard that a joint muscle, an injection works in a joint muscle, or instead of going all over to all your organs. Is that true? It's much more unique having this stem cell X30 or having the X39 in your body to reactivate versus what we're talking about.
Yeah, so this is a great question. So at first, eventually, science will get to the point where stem cell injections should be less expensive, but also far, far safer than they are today. Okay. And it's inevitable that stem cells are the way of the future. No question about it. We'll use stem cells in the future for anti-aging. So imagine if you could replace every cell in your body with a 25-year-old cell, you start to age in reverse. So that's why stem cells will eventually get there.
Yeah. I could cheer them
Yeah.
But we're not quite there yet today with stem cell injections, and for good reason. They're not completely safe. So there's a few things that we need to know about this. In the early days of stem cells, which we're not quite out of yet, when you inject a stem cell into the body, we're not entirely sure how it's going to divide. So for example, in Japan, they were looking to use stem cell injections to treat Parkinson's disease. This was a very well published study. They injected the stem cells directly into the brain of monkeys. The monkeys died. And when they opened up the brain to see what was happening, you see that the stem cells divided into hair, muscle tissue, liver tissue. And until this problem is solved, stem cells will be relatively risky.
Yeah.
Another issue is on inflammation. So many times you'll find that people will have stem cell injections and they don't get any benefit. And they're like, well, I just spent $6,000
Right.
and I don't feel any different. And the reason is that when there is a chronic injury, there's also going to be, let's break this down. What happens is somebody gets an injury and inflammation and inflammatory markers come in. The reason why the inflammation is there is to tear down the damaged tissue. But if people's antioxidant system isn't working properly, the inflammation hangs around and now the stem cells can't do their job. So the stem cells are attracted to the inflammatory cytokines at the injury. And if the antioxidant system can't keep those cytokines under control, then the stem cells die when they get to the injury site. So you can get an injection of stem cells and then the inflammation kills the stem cells and you don't get any benefit, right? Yeah. Now the patch is very, very different. Yeah. Copper peptide acts as an anti-inflammatory. Sometimes people should use the Eon patch if they're trying to deal with chronic inflammation and an injury, because that will definitely help. Okay. But people have a chronic injury, they use X39, and now it's going to help to bring down that inflammation. So copper peptide will not only get the stem cells to go to where they're needed, but it also resets the stem cells to a younger state, and you get more of them.
Wow.
So that's a huge difference as
huge.
Opposed to injections.
That is.
And you can do it every day.
Great to know.
As opposed to doing an injection,
right.
once in a while, you can do it every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And how many more people would rather just put a patch on as well than go and be injected?
Yeah. Well, most people can't afford it first, and then it's a crapshoot, right?
Yeah.
So it may or may not work.
Yeah. So it's amazing how great and confidence, you get more confidence too in your life when you have these things get helped in your body.
It's incredible. I just got back from Tokyo a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we had a recognition ceremony. We had a beautiful recognition ceremony in Taiwan and in Tokyo. And we had a woman get up during recognition in Japan. And as she was accepting her award, she just broke down in tears. And it was because she wouldn't have been alive without the patches. That was her testimony. It's not a claim that we make.
Right.
So it just hit her that, the only reason that she was there because she had this dramatic change in her life. And we see that all the time.
Yeah.
And
We've seen it in our friends.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
That's
it's a wonderful way to build a business, knowing that you're making such a powerful difference in people's lives.
Maybe we could talk on that a little bit. It's kind of out of my notes here, but you get this question and people want to think about this, and you can understand why somebody would, because they're going to devote their time and effort into building a LifeWave business. Tell them a little bit how your philosophy, how you feel. You're the owner of the company. Your long-term stick with it with LifeWave. Like, people been thinking, oh, he might sell the company, this and that. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stay and focus on his vision, and we're going to stay tight and make it happen right now. And look at all the people that are being blessed. Can you just kind of share your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think in terms of maybe more of an Eastern philosophy than than a Western philosophy.
Yeah.
It's very common in the West for people to think that, well, I'm going to start a business and then have an exit strategy in 3 to 5 years and then move on to something else.
Right.
And I'm just not that way. This is 20 years for me now for a very, very good reason. Yeah. And the type of things that I look at is where we're going to be in the next 10 to 20 years. Yeah. So what I actually want to do with the business at this point is diversify it and have a family of companies to continue to expand the opportunity. Right. And so showing the drone tech that we have, it's beginning today for humanitarian, but the technology in that is going to open up some other opportunities. It's going to open up the possibility that we can have a LifeWave power generation system, a LifeWave communication system, and this is going to be life-changing in a whole variety of ways. So imagine the day that we launch this, right? Yeah. And we have a sister company, and the binary tree in the sister company is the same as what we have today. So you don't have to build that business.
Right.
You've already built it today.
Yeah.
But now, every time someone uses their cell phone or accesses the internet and they're on our communication system, you're earning a commission.
Wow.
Good. Yeah.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So
you've already done the work.
You've already done the work, so you don't have to duplicate.
Dropping it in a sister company. It's genius.
Yeah. So that's the vision, right? Yeah. So we're going to keep LifeWave focused on health technology, but as I'm inventing all these other things, we'll have them branded in sister companies, but it's all part of the same family. All the network is the same. That's the
one
goal.
Of the biggest things that I love working with LifeWave is the owner is the inventor.
Yes.
That really, it really, these networking companies, and I'm not trying to pick on any of them, but we've seen them where the owner's looking for an opportunity. They want to get into the space and they're looking for a product. They run to a supplement company. What's the hottest supplement? Then they got to pay for the doctor to speak on it. Maybe it is a good product or not, but I feel the emotion and the energy and the confidence of having the owner being the inventor and really has his heart. You've seen, when I communicate with you a bunch, how I know it's like, it's your baby. I want to make sure that we protect the brand. Yeah. And that's, I'm really, I feel like I'm blessed in a big way. All of us are to be part of this team and your inventions and your vision.
I will tell you there's a problem with that. It's because I can't turn that inventing gene off. It's Christina and I'll say, honey, I'm sorry, but these ideas, they never stop, and it's not likely ever going to stop in my lifetime, however long that is.
But she's so good with that.
Yeah. She's fantastic.
Amazing.
Oh, she's amazing.
So supportive.
Yeah.
How many patents do you have right now?
I stopped at 132. I stopped counting. Okay. I know it's going over 150.
Okay.
But I haven't counted them in a while. But it's somewhere over 130 anyway.
Okay. Wow.
And guys,
how many friends do you got that got one patent?
Yeah. So Yeah, so some of the inventions are just going to be like the light infused brandy,
Right.
Or you guys have now received light infused chocolate.
Yeah.
So some of these things are just for kind of fun, to show appreciation to leaders and say thank you. Some of the other things, I'm creating a special award in our lab for SPDs, and another one for the elite SPDs.
Yeah.
And this is going to be an award that part of it's made of a material that never existed before, that we made in our labs.
Wow.
So it's really something unique and one of a kind. And we're doing that also for our 20th anniversary. But other things with the inventions are because we need to be able to secure our health system. And what I mean by that is, as we release new products, we empower people so they don't have to be scared of the next pandemic, that they've got their health in their hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
That we produce agricultural systems that people can use so they have an alternative food supply. Because what's happening with our food supply now is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely.
And we need alternatives.
Yeah, we do.
And so that's really what's driving a lot of this innovation, is being able to provide products that are driven by new technology that can empower people so they can have security.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Wow.
All right, so we got a few more questions here. This one's a big one that comes to us, and I'm confident you can help me on this. Is most of the LifeWave brand partners are not medical or in the drug or food industry. So a common question we hear a lot is the X39 FDA approved? Can you help us answer that question? Is it that important anyway for all of us?
Well, thank God it's not.
Right, there you go.
Because if it was, that would limit the distribution, and that'd be a real problem. So FDA does not really approve things the way that people think, right? You could say like a class 3 drug has to go through some very extreme regulatory approval, but a class 2 device, which this would fit into if it was, that the correct FDA terminology is it's cleared for market. And this has to do with the FDA not wanting to assume liability.
Right.
And then a class 1 device, those are things like tongue depressors. So the FDA just simply says, well, you can self-declare. They have another category, which we're in, is called general wellness. So the FDA says, well, if you have a product that improves the flow of energy in the body, and it fits into general lifestyle, then you can self-declare. And so that's where we're at with FDA.
There you go.
So when we got, we go through FDA review about once every 2 years. So they've certainly looked at all of our material, and they haven't had an issue with it.
Right.
So yeah, there's no reason to go for FDA approval, as it were.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a 2-part question here. I'm highly allergic to the adhesive, surgical tape, Band-Aids. If I go get blood, I got to take the tape off fairly quickly. I start to get a rash. No reason why, I don't know why. And so the patch, people are concerned that do have that allergic reaction, is question 1. And then the second one is, if they get a rash, is that a detox? And actually, can you really explain the detox? Because
Sure.
I didn't have a detox.
Yeah, neither
Steve
did I.
didn't have a detox. So let the whole crowd know what is really a detox
Sure.
and the adhesive patch.
Yeah.
Sure. So the first thing is 1 in 10,000 people are allergic to the adhesive, same as a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
So, and if someone gets an allergic response, they will definitely know it, because it'll be a very severe red rash.
Yeah.
So they should, of course, remove the patch, wash it with water, seek medical aid if needed. And if they want to use the patch again, then they can apply it to the clothing, preferably on the inside of the clothing.
Okay.
So you get to wear it still.
They can get to wear it still.
Yeah.
And of course, if for some reason they want to return it, they can.
Right.
But they should apply the patch on the inside of the clothing.
Okay.
And that will resolve that.
But if you return it, remember, I'm 60, almost 62, but I feel like I'm 25.
Yeah, better to get the advantage of the product, right?
Right.
But
Put it on
whatever
clothes.
whatever they want to do is okay.
Yeah.
So on the next thing with the detox, if people leave the patch on for 12 hours and they get an irritation, it's unlikely that it's a heat rash. Usually we see that after 20 hours, that people will leave the patch on too long, the patch is trapping body heat, and it can get a little irritation.
Right.
Now, let's say people leave it on for 12 hours and there's some redness there. The patch can pull toxins through the skin. It doesn't happen very often, but it could happen. Also, people are detoxing all the time, right, every day. If you're eating and drinking, you're
Right.
detoxing.
Right.
It's a normal mechanism in the body. And it's obviously a very, very good thing. If we don't get metabolic toxins out, then we won't live very long. So we want to support the detox of things out of our body. So patches, hydration, glutathione, those are all great ways to do it.
Right. So I know in your case studies, you have particular spots behind the neck. I always say case A and case B when I do the opportunity plan. But you can literally put the patch anywhere on your body, or if you have a spot that has discomfort, do you put it in certain spots, or like how do you share it when you tell people where to put the patch? Do you specifically tell them behind the neck, below the belly button, or woke up with a wrenched shoulder, put it on your shoulder?
Yeah, so for me personally, I'm very regimented. So I always put X39 behind the neck, and I put X49 below the belly button, and then I use a set of energy patches. That's almost always my daily routine. But I'll get in glutathione and carnosine, during the week as well, and then Eon I'm using at night, and that works extremely well for me. With the clinical studies, what we found is that you can pretty much put the patch anywhere, and it's going to work. So if someone had some knee discomfort, you could put it there. Otherwise, from our blood and urine testing, we know that the patch works virtually anywhere you put it. So if for some reason someone didn't want to wear it on the back of the neck, they could put it below the belly button or someplace else.
Yeah, and our great friend, Matt Curtis, Senior Presidential Director, he said, I put it on the back of my neck, and you want to know why? So it doesn't have far to travel.
Right, there you go. There you go. Yeah, but it's really fun.
Steve and I have had miraculous results with the X39. What would you say to someone who says they are not getting immediate results? So they're wearing the patch, but they're not feeling. I always make sure before I respond to them that I say, are you wearing it faithfully and consistently? Because that's really number one right there. And have you done studies on the X39 that would prove the patch is working even though they're not feeling anything or getting a testimony?
Yeah. Well, let's say, I use an example. You go out in the sun, right? You're down at the beach, you feel good, you're relaxed, and the sun is elevating your vitamin D. You don't know the sun is elevating your vitamin D unless you're blood testing for it, right? So, so the first thing is most people aren't going to feel the change of copper peptide levels, but there are other things that they will feel if they're paying attention. So in our studies, which are in our back office and people can look at, most people the first 24 hours, they'll see that they're sleeping better or they have more energy. By the end of the first week, people's memory is improving if people are paying attention. Now, legitimately, there's going to be a small percentage of people where it's going to take 3 to 6 weeks before they see anything. We've definitely had cases where someone had a long-term injury and then they didn't see a result for about 4 or 6 weeks, but then the injury began to heal. Could be a lot of different things. It could be they don't have the best diet. Someone could be a smoker. They could be a heavy drinker. They're not getting proper rest. Could be any of those things. So I'd say someone should give the product a try for at least 1, 2, 3 months. Make sure they're doing everything else in their life properly, and they'll get a benefit from it.
It seems like whenever Gene and I start promoting something that's incredible, people are looking around and seeing things, and they start thinking, oh, you know what, I'm going to get one up on them, and I'm going to copy the same thing they're doing. So all of a sudden in the marketplace, whether it, I think it's a combination of us three and the whole team, in LifeWave, people are watching us.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, okay, I've got a patch that's just like LifeWave, or I can, promote it the same way they are. Let everyone know. We really need to hear, because the newest person needs to know the kind of quality and what the X39 does, and is there anything at all even close to what we have our hands on with the X39?
Yeah, nothing. There's nothing on the market like it.
Nothing!
They can be loud, these people, so I'm glad that you're saying that.
Yeah.
Nothing. He said nothing. There's nothing at all close. There's nothing even similar to the X39.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, first, we have global patents on X39. So, and we're a big enough company that if somebody did try to knock us off, which is not easy to do, there's a reason why it's been proprietary for 20 years.
Right.
It's not an easy technology to knock off. If they did, then we would be able to enforce our patents and then prevent them from selling. There are people that have put, you could say, copycat products on the market for pain relief. And those work either through a different mechanism or they don't work at all. So it wouldn't be something that I'd worry about. But no one has anything like X39. It just doesn't exist.
That's amazing.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
Because our son says, take that to the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you give us a little glimpse of what you see LifeWave, where we're going, what's happening? Because, our team is so on fire, and just kind of like fill them in what's going to happen in the next year, 2 years, where we're going, what's happening, the vision of LifeWave.
A lot's gonna happen in the next year. We're gonna have a major product launch this year, and it will be, I think what I would say about it is that it's definitely going to usher in a new generation at LifeWave. X39 will continue to be our flagship product, but we're going to pave the way with an entirely different technology that is going to increase the speed at which people get results with the patches. I think that's probably fair to say.
Wow.
So people will definitely want to be at convention in Dallas for our 20-year anniversary. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be much bigger than what people suspect. I would say that, and we're actually almost sold out. We have 6,000 people that we can hold, and we're trying to figure out how to expand because we're almost sold out at this point. This far
And
along.
we're just getting started.
And we're just getting started.
Whoa.
Yeah.
20th year anniversary is going to be wild. It's going to be incredible.
It's going to be incredible.
We thought 2023 was big. 2024, this year is your year.
Yep.
And we're going to put that link up when we get done with this interview with him. We'll put that link up so you guys can go online and get the rest of the tickets. Boom, this is it, guys.
Yeah, it's going to, it'll be amazing. And so I'm definitely looking forward to that. We're expanding what we're doing in Mexico. South Korea is open this month, and that's going to be absolutely enormous for us.
Yes.
We have AI customer service going online. We're working on an AI app to be a virtual assistant.
Good.
We're going to be doing
so they don't have to wait on hold. Woo-hoo!
No, that's the goal.
Yeah.
We're going to do a global hologram tour in February with this hologram tech.
Yeah.
So
maybe we can be a part of it with ours.
Definitely.
I'm going to get mine figured
So
out.
there you go. We'll have the training for it. But myself, Ryan, and Meredith will be doing hologram appearances in South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Mexico, and to start that off. It's extremely exciting because when leaders use this tech, they'll be able to attend events all over the world, and it'll look like they're actually there, right? And they'll be able to see and hear the people that they're communicating with. So this is going to be revolutionary for our industry, and LifeWave's the first network marketing company to do it.
Hey, as we start to wrap up here, can you just give everyone, because this is it really gets me in my heart what you had to go through to bring this X39 to fruition. And can you give them a little bit in their mindset when they're starting out? Because people sometimes, they've never had their own business. They've never had to strive for a goal. It took me years before I became a world champion. So 10 years of research, almost $4.5 million to bring the X39 to market. What could you portray to these folks in 2024 that they could have a certain kind of mindset that give them the stamina? What drove you that you could encourage them to get that same type of mindset to help them to have success in LifeWave?
Yeah, it's such an interesting question because we could probably have an hour where we could talk about that, right? And so I think the first thing is the only way that someone can achieve financial independence is by owning their own business. But most people are going to fail at doing that because the odds are against them. They're not going to have an exclusive product. They're not going to have the experience. They're not going to have enough money. They underestimate how much money and time it's going to take. So this is why such a high percentage of businesses fail. So now let's say you have someone and they have a friend come to them, and the friend says, well, look, let's go into business together, and I'm going to put up 99% of the money that you need. And I'll invent the product, I'll patent it, I'll manufacture it, I'll provide the customer service, I'll provide the order fulfillment, I'll set up the website, I'll take care of all the legal work. All you have to do is go out and share the product with others, and this product is going to bless people's lives by providing healing. Can you do that? Right? And anybody would say, yeah, I'd be out of my mind not to do that, right? So this is what we offer, right? So we're like the rich uncle, right? And so we're going to put all of those systems in place, and now our brand partners invest an incredibly small amount of money, right?
Credit card. You can get started on a credit card.
You can get started on a
you get started on a credit card.
You can't. You can't, right? So so you invest an incredibly small amount of money, and now you're in business, and you have this incredible infrastructure, and the potential is there to earn more than $1 million a year. So to me, there is no better alternative for the majority of people to start a business and have an odds of being successful, right? So that, I think that would be the first thing, and probably the most important. The second thing that goes with that is that when we look at leaders that have been successful in our industry, there's a common thread about what they teach. And it really does come back into looking at what leaders are doing that have been successful, being patient, being persistent each and every day, just like you're going to get up and exercise and eat healthy. You're committed to calling people, holding meetings, doing demonstrations, doing the follow-ups, and you're regimented and you're committed to that. And you don't have to be the smartest person, you don't have to have the most money, but you do have to be committed and have a plan and follow and execute. But that is a path to success. And I know the two of you have met many, many people. I know a few of them that started with nothing and today are financially independent as a result. So we really have the best industry. People have to apply themselves, but they can become independent if they want to.
And I mean, if the key word here was commitment, how hard is that? You got to commit to almost everything you had to do to get to where you're at today. Stay committed to this. The time right now for people to be open is much greater than ever before, and the opportunity is just sitting there before you, every one of you.
And I just love, people say, till they learn the concept of MLM, network marketing, they don't really realize, when I worked at Delta Airlines for 25 years, I was in a pyramid. Boom, I was right there. I would have never been home, ever, if I wanted to make extra money. I would have been gone more days. So to me, it's just, we can help people. So simple. We can help them get the money back before the credit card bill comes in. We can help them build an income, whatever their drive is, whatever their vision, their destiny for their family. It's just absolutely incredible. And we just want to take the time and thank you with everybody online. Come
Yeah.
on, guys, give it up for him.
Come on.
We are so blessed to have him fly all the way here to Fort Lauderdale to be live at our event.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely incredible. What a pleasure it has been to interview you. You're the easiest one I've ever interviewed. But what a blessing. And our convention name is The Best Year Ever. And that is our goal for LifeWave. Of course, they're going to get better and better.
Yeah.
But we had to have some kind of a vision because we want anybody who gets in, doesn't matter, like you just said, doesn't matter what their education is, what their background is, we can help them win. And This Is It team is so thankful, grateful, and blessed to have you here and be a part of this amazing online virtual convention. And we just appreciate your time, you being here, coming in, and just we're all stepping it up.
Yeah.
So watch out. You might
Yeah.
want to get another production machine.
2024, no one's being left in the dust that's on
That's
here today.
absolutely
We're
right.
going to make this happen, and we're going to follow his lead, and all of us just have a dream big enough to stay committed.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Yep.
David,
So
for
thanks.
sharing with
Appreciate you.
everybody.
Thank you
God
both.
bless.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Steve.
you, all right?
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.